Bengali fighters enough to have supremacy in encounters with the enemy. This unidentified boy played a great role passing information about Pakistani force to freedom fighters having position near Shalda River of Chittagong. An area that finally came under the command of Bengali Army officer Major Saleh. In fact, Major Khalid Musharraf, head of K Force, one of the three key forces formed during the Liberation War, was the chief commanding officer of areas controlled by Major Saleh. This is a description of the war situation by Khalid Musharraf, a valiant warrior full of patriotism.
Fighting a war of attrition, in that we kill in self-defense, as long as they are going to come and fight with us.
But Pakistani authority continuously kept suppressing the reality. Rather, they alleged that Indians did everything that had been happening in East Pakistan.
Very well-disciplined army. We are proud of this fact. I deny this accusation of atrocity of Pakistan army.
Besides, the occupation army, their collaborators, Ghulam Azam and others, were also very active to foil the liberation war. This single shot by a journalist is a document of their activities. This old man fled through Joshua Road to escape the atrocity of Al-Badr. A gang of Ghulam Azam made a statement of the situation.
কচড়ির মধ্যে টগরের মধ্যে মাথা জাগাইয়া নাক জাগাইয়া 3 দিন 4 দিন পর্যন্ত থাকতে হয়েছে মেয়ে দিনে কত কত ছোট ছোট বাচ্চা কচড়ির তলে থুইয়া আসতে হয়েছে তাদের আমরা আনতে পারি নাই বাবা আর ক্ষমতা নেই
Perhaps due to the monsoon, it was their declared aim actually that they would increase it during monsoon. And I think they have done so a little more.
But President of Pakistan, Yahya Khan, praised the role of Razakars. Collaborating forces like Razakar, Al-Badr and Al-Shams were formed overnight.
Being fired at, being ruled by these guerrillas, army reaches there. Well, army can't reach everywhere. So what is happening really is that the people themselves are now organizing village defense.
On the other hand, the war started to take a new shape after July. Despite continuous propaganda by the Pakistani Authority, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister of India, announced her solidarity with the have-nots from East Pakistan while she visited the refugee camps in Kolkata. Trained freedom fighters were also approaching the mainland, crossing the border. This border belt was freed in August. Freedom fighters opened a training center after capturing the Roumari police station. As the rainy season approached, the occupation army found it difficult to carry on the fight. Not only that, frequent ambush by Bengali guerrillas put the Pakistani Authority into a difficult situation. A group of guerrillas blew up the Department of Information for carrying out propaganda against freedom fighters. The Pakistani Authority started a diplomatic war with the help of its friendly countries in August, after they had realized that winning the war was beyond their ability. That's why Yahya Khan kept speaking ill of India.
My borders are troubled. not by me, but by my neighbor. Shelling by field guns, mortaring by mortars. Activities by infiltrators, armed infiltrators across the border are continuing. I would like to know which displaced person, civilian, would like to cross that border under those conditions.
Notorious diplomat and erstwhile US Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, while visiting India, sensed the gravity of the situation. So he influenced Pakistan to raise voice against India at the United Nations Assembly.
By indulging in sabotage of food ships, India is trying to create conditions of famine for 75 million people of East Pakistan to fulfill its own political objectives. If the international community is genuinely concerned about possible food shortage in East Pakistan, it has an obligation to prevent India from indulging in activities which, if unchecked, cannot but endanger the sustenance of the people of East Pakistan.
Now you know what the position is. Now you know that India, a predatory aggressor, a country that has never reconciled herself to Pakistan, has committed naked aggression for the third time on the soil of Pakistan.
Other political parties of West Pakistan also kept supporting the Yahya and Bhutto alliance, as they were kept in the dark about the real scenario in East Pakistan. This support inspired Yahya Khan to be more notorious.
I'm trying to avert it by showing a lot of patience. But there's a limit to our patience too. So we're very close to it. I am equally going to make it very clear that the war is forced on us through a means of some action in East Pakistan. An attack on East Pakistan is an attack on Pakistan.
But Indian Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi herself was more than enough to defend the right cause of the people of East Pakistan.
Well, surely that the massacre there stops, the rape stops, the burning of villages stops.
Can it not be fairly put to you that you're contributing in a way to the exodus of the refugees by your support for the Pakistan guerrillas? Now, mustn't you, in effect, face the question of having to reduce your support for the guerrilla armies operating in East Pakistan?
Does that mean we allow a massacre to continue? What happened first? How many people were killed according to your correspondence of British newspapers, of American newspapers, of French newspapers, Canadian newspapers, Arabian newspapers? The massacre began long before there was a single guerrilla.
But as a contribution to quietening the situation, as I say.
No, what does quietening mean? Does it mean that we support the genocide? And do you think it can be stopped? Do you think people are going to sit aside and watch their women raped in front of them? And say that, no, we are going to quieten the situation? That's not quietness. That is the worst possible type of war, is the worst possible type of violence.
But how then, without something done to control the guerrilla activity in return for greater discipline by the Pakistan army, can you secure these first steps?
When Hitler was on the rampage, why didn't you say, let's keep quiet and let's have peace in Germany and let the Jews die, or let Belgium die, let France die? Would you say that was quiet?
But how do you propose to bring about these first steps to control the exodus?
It's not for us to. This would never have happened if the world community had woken up to the fact when we first drew their attention to it.
Mrs. Gandhi didn't sit idle after winning the battle of words. She vigorously countered Pakistan at home and United Nations.
It is a time for alertness, not only of our defense forces, but of all our people. In the last few months, the world has witnessed the courage, dignity, and self-restraint with which we have faced this challenge. I am sure that you will meet all future dangers in the same spirit.
Still, taming the devil was not easy. the Pakistani Authority preferred an unnatural solution as the Bengali fighters finalized their plan.
Situation created by the Indian aggression is leading the two countries to a point of no return. I would like to make it absolutely clear that we shall defend our honor.
Pakistan first attacked India in November. Air raid by Pak Air Force killed Indian civilians in Tripura. The Pakistani venture did not produce results. Freedom fighters kept on liberating area after area of Bangladesh.
থেকে ফায়ার করতেছে।
Their operations throughout Bangladesh are carefully controlled and coordinated with central command.
This is the place, this place is known as Kulapathar, and I have buried 10 of my boy who has been shaheed in the last few days of battle. And each one of them have fought gallantly. If I tell you the stories how they have died, you'll be surprised. They have not bothered about their life, but by dying, they have saved many of us. And in each one of this case, I just can't imagine when a chap fighting like this have died, what right have we got to live and enjoy the independence? I don't know. We have to fight, and all our soldiers are fully determined. my name is Major Salik, and I have been given the charge of this subsector. Shaldanudi, you must have heard it many times in the radio. This area, I have got about 40 square miles of liberated. You know, they pass their regular life by normal farming, and this market, as you see, this Bangladesh flag is on. It can definitely boost up their morale, and they are quite determined. These people are of a lot of help for us because they act as sometimes scouts. They bring information of enemy. They act as our load carrier. That is the best way we can utilize them. Our ammunition replenishment and casualty evacuation. There are many local people. They all come out with this type of helps.
Pakistan didn't expect that its diplomatic ally USA would be overwhelmed by the strong personality of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Perhaps they waged the war for a diplomatic victory. A couple of days before their surrender, this statement by head of Eastern Commands of Pakistani Army, General Niazi, carries that sense.
proud of my troops, their discipline, their bravery, their tradition, and I'm sure we will be able to maintain the traditions of our forefathers, which have never lost a battle.
Jai Bangla! Jai Bangla!
Fight it out to the last.
But a lot of men might die.
This is the price of the freedom.
But what freedom? Not yours.
It's mine, yes, my country, Pakistan.
You still consider that you stand a fighting chance
will
of...
stay, yes, inshallah will stay.
But the next scene was just opposite.
You will find the tanks on the road, pointing the guns towards Kulla. Don't attack the tanks. After the tanks, 2,000 yards to 3,000 yards, you will find on the port and starboard side enemy concentration. Go in for those. You are flying towards Jessore now.
The Sino-American attempt in favor of Pakistan for a ceasefire at United Nations was vetoed by Russia. Right at this moment, India's call for transfer of Pakistani political power to the elected representatives of people sounded very logical.
This one-sided and partisan attitude of the distinguished representative of United States of America has shocked and surprised us. The US is entitled to its own opinions and interpretations. So are we. But facts are facts and must be stated. Right from the beginning of this unfortunate situation that has arisen in the subcontinent, India had been asking for a political settlement acceptable to the elected and acknowledged representatives of the people of Bangladesh.
In the meantime, India stepped up its attack on the Western Front. Air attack on Karachi airport and all other frontiers crushed Pakistani defense in 5 days. Indian Army occupied a vast area of Pakistan on the Western Front. Governor of East Pakistan, Munaim Khan, fled, fearing Indian air attack. Friends of Pakistan sensed that defeat is inevitable. That's why United States proposed for a truce. At that time, former US President George Bush Sr. was permanent representative of US in UN. He tried his best to get the proposal passed.
But in defiance of this expression of world opinion, India again said no. They continue to prefer
the use of force to peaceful means. India, which over the years has sought to reflect in and outside of this chamber the moral force of the world, the very precepts for which its great leaders, Gandhi and Nehru, stood, is now disregarding the Charter of the United Nations.
But the firm stand of Russia and India facilitated the way of freedom for Bangladesh. Defeat of US in UN justified the war for Bangladesh. UN Secretary General U Thant only urged the rival parties not to target innocent civilians.
I now appeal to all the parties to the conflict, no matter what their allegiance, to take every possible measure to spare the lives of the innocent civilian population which is afflicted and threatened by the present hostility.
Gradually, defense of Pakistani force collapsed in Dhaka. British journalist Mark Tully was describing the situation of the unguarded city.
Half destroyed the residence. Then I got there just after that. I found the governor in the bunker, in the guard, trembling like a leaf and saying, I didn't quite know whether to resign. Should I resign? Will my wife be killed by the Indian Army? Can I get at the Intercontinental Hotel? As we were standing there in this bunker, suddenly there was another raid. And all hell broke loose. There was an enormous crash. And hardly the crash died down, but the governor suddenly produced a ballpoint pen, a scrap of paper, a few carbons, and had written out a resignation statement in a matter of seconds, just in time actually for the second big crash.
At last, the External Affairs Minister of Pakistan, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, became furious and refused to accept the proposal for surrender in the Security Council. Rather, he opted for war, tearing the paper of the surrender proposal.
It is disgraceful to my person and to my country to remain here a moment longer than necessary. But I am not boycotting. Impose any decision. Have a treaty worse than the Treaty of Versailles. Legalize aggression. Legalize occupation. Legalize everything that has been illegal till 13th or 15th of December 1971. I will not be a party to it. We will fight. We will go back and fight. My country hearkens for me.